big ups. Pia tuko na the one and only Edward Githaiga. He's from Africans for Haiti. He's a chief inspirational officer. And then my brother as well as anaitwa John Wanguba Mukoya, that is the national chair of Movement for Defense of Democracy. Now let's get into the thick of things. Tuanze na historia Haiti.
Yeah.
It's fair if I start with you, Edward.
Sure, man.
Because Babu Umeko are very passionate about the conversation.
Exactly.
I just want you to clarify for Kenyans why it is the right thing to do to kitumama officers wetu waendoke vo Haiti. Now I remember very well, earlier there was a petition filed in court by Kurokot. Alikuwa anasema hata Haiti hawaku write a formal request asking us to send our police officers huko hivyo. But see, as we did our thing, the president had his own reasons. But for clarification purposes, tukianza hii conversation, tell us why it's the right thing for us to send our officers there. So far, 100 of Mesha land.
So it's the right thing to send our troops there because we have already gotten into this thing. The way we got into it was because, and I want to bring up the facts because I've heard you mention something, but you didn't really mention the fact. Haiti did make an appeal to the United Nations, right? We are all under the United Nations globally. We are all members of the international community, and you never forget that because that's what gives us the global status. And Kenya is ranked top in terms of policing, global police and peacekeeping. So when Haiti made the appeal in September during the United Nations General Assembly in New York, His Excellency the President William Ruto accepted, and it was presented by the Secretary General. And Kenya said, like it has always said in many missions, Kenya has participated, for information, in 44 missions globally. We've gone all the way to Yugoslavia, Sierra Leone, Somalia here. So Kenya is always, the world is looking for us to be the first people to contribute. So Kenya took that initiative, and that's how the mission began. So right now, our police are going there for certain reasons. At that particular time, the Haitian community had been suffering for a very long time. As you all know, Haiti has suffered through a hurricane. Haiti has suffered through not just one. Remember Katrina in the early 2000s. Then they had the major earthquake in 2010, and there was another after effect of that. They never recovered. So when the whole institutional system collapsed after the earthquake, that's when the gangsters now came in place, and they took over the whole country, basically, and the war began. So the people who have been holding strong for the country is the police. The police are the only ones. Haiti doesn't have a military. So the main thing that is happening now, the crisis, is that there's 5 million Haitians in the brink of starvation, according to World Food Program.
Right.
Over 750 to almost 1 million have already been displaced. So like where you live in your Mtaa, Eastlands, Westlands, Madare, Congo, wherever, you've been kicked out of there because the gangsters have taken over. There's issues of rape. Women are being raped daily. Forget about Congo. In Haiti, it's even worse. Gang violence. They always say about New York, gang violence and all that. Haiti is a daily occurrence. Gang violence everywhere. Theft. Destruction of property. So the country is going to be a failed state. So there is something called the R2P, responsibility to protect, which I want to make Kenyans aware was passed in United Nations in 2005, whereby the international community, including Kenya, is a signatory to that, that they shall never sit aside and allow a genocide to happen. I know there are many issues that are happening globally, but this issue might end up being a genocide. Because of the lawlessness. And you see the 5 million who are going to starve. They're not starving because they cannot farm for themselves. It's because of the disruption that they... I'm going to give you a historical perspective. Kenya is ranked first in Africa because of the way we gained our independence. We had a struggle for our independence. We stood up for the African man and woman in Africa, believing that it's our time to take back our power that was taken away by the colonialists. Now in Haiti are the first black republic in the world from Africans' descendants. They're the ones who defeated Napoleon, the great Napoleon Emperor of France. And in fact, the America you know today would not have been America if Haitians didn't defeat France, because once the Haitians defeated the French pulled back from Americas and went back to France, and now America became a free state, and that was in 1804. So what we are saying is that we, as an African Kenyan country, and I also want to give you other facts, Kenya is not the only country in this mission. There is over 20 countries. You know, Burundi also goes on peace.
But we're leading the mission.
Yes. Yeah, we're leading it because Kenya experience.
That's a good thing. That's a good. I think watu wengi wanajua hizo facts. But Joe Mukoya, maybe you can jump in hapa hivi kwa sababu kuna watu wanasema I mean, come on. Ukiangalia the timing, how officers wameenda huko hivyo Haiti, so far there's about 900 are gonna follow. The president is in America. He's met the main man, Biden. When you listen to Kenyans in different quarters, wanasema the president has gone to see his master. You know, he's just serving his master's wishes. Is that true, bro? Ukiangalia vile, I mean, because what was the need for us to go to Haiti? It's cool, we're part of the United Nations. But tuko na mashida zetu hapa, and why Kenya? You know what I mean?
We've been to Congo.
Let Johnny jump in there. John Mukoya, talk to us.
I want to agree with my brother, Githaiga, that we have led 40 missions. Fine. We have been leading those 40 missions, not through police officers. We have been leading those 40 missions through the army. Was it right for us to take the police officers of Kenya? We are talking about, you know, we have been told these are not just any other police officer. Which are these any other police officers? We are going to deal with gangsters. We have had terrorists in this country, the so-called Reggae squad. Like there was a time when Lenku was the Minister of Interior, and then there was that Westgate. They started burning blankets. We had that so-called Reggae squad. We are talking about a country which has overrun its own police officers. As my brother puts it right, that Haiti doesn't have an army serving police. They have overrun those police. The right people to have gone there, then we could have taken our army, because they are allowed by law to do that. Fine, we are picking our brothers here. Some of them, they are Serelak. They only go to those jobs through their own means. Connections, they are there. You ask them, even investigative. And we know, we are all Kenyans.
Is that a fact? Like in your story, kupata through connection, surely.
My brother Kevin, we are in this country. No, we are not defaming. That is what happens. You are a media house, and you have been reading stories where people have lost money bribing their children to get to the forces. Some have gotten there. It means that this is something that has been happening. The big question is, why Kenya?
Why Kenya?
Why Kenya?
What are we to gain from this engagement?
What exactly? You are saying 100 has gone. In our own country today, as we speak today, insecurity is rampant. We have places like Samburu. People are just they are just shooting MCS. We come back here in Nairobi. We are not safe ourselves. When you take 100, then take 900 again. Why Kenya?
Johnny, I asked you a question earlier. Some people, kuna watu wanasema President Ruto is just a puppet. Ameenda kuserve his master's wishes. The way AKA Biden. Is that true?
The way things happen today, and when we look at when President Ruto came to today, I will say so because he's there, he's sitting on that seat.
He's our president.
He's our president. When you go to that seat, you know, they always say when you see the West actually pampering you, then there's something that they're gaining out of you, or they're using you. The relationship of William Ruto and Joe Biden, as currently constituted, that relationship is in doubt. Like today, what is happening? Why should it be that and when William president said that there's something the US they are going to gain money out of this our officers going to Haiti, exactly, we should not sacrifice our children, our brothers, because we are gaining some money for that peacekeeping.
All right,
peacekeeping mission.
Edward, let me jump back to you. I know you're going to respond to easy statements John Mukoya, but there's also a case of the United States lawmakers walikuwa wanataka deny Biden funding for this mission. I need to touch on that because clearly there isn't enough goodwill from America. At the same time, there's something I've just been reading up if you go one of the online publications. They're saying Kenya's plan to deploy police officers to the multinational mission in Haiti has once again hit the rocks because of challenges of procurement. Bado kuna makara wetu, apparently they haven't gotten some equipment, for example, communication equipments. There's also lack of armored vehicles and helicopters.
But already they're there.
They're already there. So meaning they're not even ready to. Unajua, one thing I know is they have to get used to these equipments and then feel comfortable and then get into battle with some of these gangsters. The gangsters, on the other hand, if you read some of these publications, they're saying they've even now decided to merge. There are many gangs around Haiti, and they've decided to merge in preparation of defending the country against Kenyan forces and the other foreign forces. Sasa ukisikia hizi shida za procurement when they're talking about communication equipment, helicopters, armored vehicles hazikuwa zimefika, and then again you're hearing how the gangsters are really prepared and ready for Kenyans. Aren't we going to fail?
Maybe, Kevo, before Edward responds, you know, our police officers are going to face, it is war. It is not the normal demonstrators here, the way we demonstrate here. You are going to face people who are prepared, people who understand the terrain, people who understand how they're going to fight with you. This is it's a foreign country. It's not a country you have always been there.
Edward, what do you have to say, bro?
Thank you so much. Thank you, my brother. It's good that we're talking about it. I mean, because we're already committed.
And these are facts.
You see, we didn't talk about us going to Yugoslavia the way we are doing now with Haiti. We didn't talk about even Congo. I never heard you guys ever mention when we were in DRC when our troops were there. You never talked about it. I don't know, but there is something I also want to raise here.
Clarify, Edward. When you talk about troops, let's clarify which troops are we talking about? Policemen or the army?
No, listen to me.
Yes.
Maybe you don't know.
Yes.
Right now, even in many countries in Africa, we've deployed police. This is not the first time. Even in Somali, we're the ones who train the Somali police. Our police are qualified. Maybe they may not be qualified to win our standard, but they are qualified according to the global standard.
All right.
The other thing I want to say.
What a statement.
The other thing I want to say. There is a lot of misinformation, and I want you to vet that publication.
This is.
Please vet that publication because there is a lot of misinformation and propaganda out there just to tarnish our name.
Yes.
You see, right now we are dealing with geopolitics. We know there is Russia. We know there is China. We know there is the eastern side of the political coin, which are probably not happy with the dalliance that is happening right now between His Excellency William Samoei Ruto and the current president of the United States. That there is a cooperation that is going on. And this is our right. It's his right to choose. Kibaki chose to face east, right? What's his name? Uhuru was nusu. He's east, he's west. But now Ruto has chosen west because there are certain. By the way, ask yourself, who is the number one supporter and funder of Kenya in terms of supporting development and aid?
United States.
Forget about loans. What we get from China is loans. These people are in health. They are in education. They are in many other things. Security, hold on. Security and many other important things. China doesn't give us. They don't give us that. Then they give us loans. Na hivyo ndio inaisha. So allow His Excellency the President to participate and exercise his constitutional right as a president to lead Kenya forward. Don't be part of the propagandists who are currently selling propaganda against Kenya.
That's fine.
Any attack on our president is an attack on us as Kenya.
Talk about preparedness then. Let's address
now. Going back to the point.
Yes.
Going back to the point, my brother, the current crisis in Haiti is a law and order matter. The gangsters are not a militia. You understand? There is a threshold. Hold on a minute, please. Give me a minute. My friend here just said they are now metamorphosis or metamorphizing, something like that, into a militia. They're trying to now wear some gear that looks combat. But before this, were wearing bandanas, the Crips and and something like that. So they are more like a ragtag. It's not an organized militia. So that doesn't. The pedigree doesn't demand that the military needs to go there. It's the police issue. It's a matter of law and order. And the police, let me give you an example. We have RDU. We have GSU.
Yes.
We have Reggae Squad. We have many other special units. This is, like I said, it's not the traffic police. It's not the beat police. Wale wa kubeba 2AK. These are close combat, well-trained police who know how to take out people like those.
That's fine, but they're not empowered, bro. I've just told you about the problems they're going through. I want you to address that.
No, the problems, those are propaganda. We are denying that.
Procurement issues.
No, there's nothing like that. Let me give you facts. Listen, last 2 weeks, contractors. You guys, there's no procurement we're doing. All the equipment of communication, surveillance, ground movement, including the place of sleep, has been set up by the American contractors.
But our guys have not
the money
received the equipment.
Is not being given to us at cash. Take this and do what you want. Even the salaries are being paid through the Pentagon. Hold on a minute. So guys, let's not just make fun of this. There is no issue of procurement.
So you say this is propaganda?
This is propaganda, as you can see, because it's the Americans who are already there.
Let's not dwell too much on it.
Okay, let me also tell you this.
Yes, briefly.
Africa for Haiti.
Okay.
We are civil society.
Yes.
In fact, just the other day we were featured in Africa Intelligence as the first civil society supporting this mission, also with a mission to create our relationship with Haiti. I do understand many Kenyans why they feel why Haiti. It's because Kenya has no relations with Haitian people. But this is the time we're going to build these relations. When you see these people fought the colonialists, they fought the slave masters and gave all Africans the freedom we deserve. It is now our time as Pan-Africanists to engage and build that bridge. Remember, Haiti is a very wealthy country. You people are looking at Haiti like it's a poor country. Venezuela, the oil in Haiti is more than that which is in Venezuela. What Haiti needs is to get back to law and order. Haiti, in fact, let me tell you, was feeding all countries in the Caribbean back in the days. It is just because of a law and order issues and governance.
I think we made that clear, but I want to ask you something.
So we need to make this country stand up.
Eduardo, kuna malimino na ni kama atuambia watu. In the first place, if it are Haiti, ndio ama chalima gangster wa stand out ni cause wamefeel for a very long time wamekuwa wakitumiwa vibaya na the western world. Hiyo ndio ile noma yao kubwa wako nayo. Wanasema whomsoever na kalio kiti wanga ni puppet amekuwa hapo. Wanajua wako na hizo resources na wanataka zirudi kwa mikono yao. Baba yo, ile kitu wana need sahi, wana need just a talk, a conversation kulingana na huo butcher man bila kwa nase.
I hope uko na mentality ni kama movie uli watch. Juu inakaa ni kama movie umewatch. Wacha nikishona siongei na ubaya. Siongei na ubaya.
Kitabu pena kwa simple sana.
Sahi. Let me give you facts. Hata huo mmoja anaitwa Barbecue. Si mnamjua?
Nikarao.
Alikuwa former police commander. Akaenda rogue. Sijui kama mnajua.
Kwa nini?
Iza ngoja ni show. Wacha ni show. 20% mimi ndio nawapatia facts. John. Wacha nimalize. 1 minute. 20% ya leadership ya hao magangsters walitoka kwa hiyo police. Saa hii 70% ya our gangsters ni children, child soldiers who have been forced to join those gangs. They are not even, they don't have any training. Ni watu wamejipata in social economic circumstances za poverty.
Edward, acha Badman expound.
Acha nimalizie hapo.
Eduardo, jua ukweli, okay, 20% unaisema fit sana, but tusahau pia kuna bado news zingine watu wako nazo huku nje. Watu wamefanya ma research zao na realize 80% ya zile companies zina run Haiti ni za wa Meru. Ni European world ndio wana run companies huko. Watu wa Haiti wengi ni kazi wameandikwa. Na hiyo ndio wanajaribu kusema aje bro, for once tunataka hizi vitu ziko huku ndio sisi zinatusurvive, tunasurvive nazo pia. Ino maiko hapa ya Butcherman, the nani uchali wetu Barbecue. Alisema visimple sana. Yeye kitu anataka cycles already ule prime minister step out. Tuende huko America sasa. Tukae chini tuongee. Unanige tuambie sisi kama watu wa Haiti hizi 1 2 3 ndio tunataka bro. Ni nini haswa tunataka Haiti? Tunataka kwenda peace. Kama wamewapatia njia ya peace yao jonte ni hii. Mbona mtaki kuwafuata?
Sahi au uko, wacha niwapatie facts. Just yesterday kuliformiwa vigilante. Si unaona kama Venezuela mlikuwa mnaform zile vitu za protect. Si unajua ile maybe mlikuwa na police brutality mpaka mkaanza ile group ya Raila ile ya mavijana, unakumbuka? Sasa hii vigilante zimeanza kuform za community because our gangsters wana rape. Unaona, si ati wana fight for anything, our fighti watu. Alafu mjue Haiti imemekwe drug transit island. Unaona, au ma kingpin wa madrugs wanatumia Haiti. So wana prefer magangster wakiwa kwa power, ndio wa take advantage ya hiyo country. So ndio pali tumejiuliza kama international community, Kenya being involved, are we going to sit aside and see Haiti being ruled by criminals?
So John, what do you have to say, and then we get back to another topic.
Eduardo, unajua Edu vinatoka huko civil society, huko ndo pia tulikuwa na yeye pia, tukaingia siasa na yeye, anaweza ongea the whole day na akona whole history. Anaweza, unajua, is very passionate, and I know about life and whatever. But you know, hapa tuna reality. Edu Edu na amesema kwamba Kenyans are not going to face a militia. Secondly, he comes and tells us that the people leading all that thing came from the forces. The Kenyan police that are living here are not going to face a stone thrower in Nairobi who is demonstrating about UNGA to come down. They are going to face people who are leading them. These are police officers who left the forces to come and rebel
with sophisticated weaponry.
Exactly. Secondly, we have those children Edu is calling about having been forced to join the child soldiers. So our officers are not going to face the children we passed through Imaradaima while we are demonstrating, and they come out with water just to dance kwamba utunyunyizie maji. They are going to face child soldiers who are operating a gun and who have nothing to lose, that they are going to shoot. Those people we are going to face are holding guns. Already that's a militia.
Exactly.
Unless I do not understand what a militia is.
All right.
Those are the same people who held their president, their prime minister or so, who was here in Nairobi, and they told him that you are not going to come back. How was he not going to come back? And these are just, as Edu puts it, it's just law and order. It's not about law and order. The same way I want to agree with Badman, these people, they have also a political issue. They want their self-rule. Or how they are being governed in that country. Let's accept and tell people reality. That those Haiti people have been oppressed and are continuing to be oppressed.
Exactly.
By this so-called, the whites today, who are now sending there our soldiers to go to Haiti. What is their interest?
That's interesting. Sasa, hold it right there. But that is Bwana John Mukoya, National Chair of Movement for Defense of Democracy. That is, of course, is also affiliated to ODM. And Edward Githaiga, Africans for Haiti, Chief Inspirational Officer. Tumekuwa tukiongea about the Kenya mission in Haiti. When we come back, more stories, especially sasa hii maneno the finance bill. What's going on, man? Kev, there's a question you were asking Edu off air. Maybe unaweza expound on it.
Hiyo story ya black killing black. Cause ni real sana. That was telling my brother hapa Edu. Tunaenda Haiti tukatai. But hii kitu tukiangalia on a pan-African eye, the third eye, Eduardo, kuna game imekuwa ikiendelea since time in memory. Black people are being used to kill black people. Unaniget? Na hii kitu ama travel, me I've been a traveling man, unaenda states. State ukiwa black man, kitu ya kwanza ukidrive, karawa kikusimamisha na kuambianga assume the position. Hivyo umekaa umeshikilia steering kaa hivyo hii, lakini anapata na mlami akona hadi na thwau wanampeleka police station. Wanaenda kubonga, they don't kill their own. Lakini akipata wewe ni black man, ni assassination straight and iko worldwide. Unaniget? Hapa kwetu imekam the same thing, karawa na kama anaona mseni mgondi. Huyu si mgondi, ni Mwafrika mwenzako. Unaniget? Ana need maybe ni peer pressure imefanya kwa hivyo, maybe ni poverty imempusha hadi hapo. Baba yao ndani tunakuwa na government inafanya take over vitu kaa hizi. Kila mtu anapewa another chance. Unaniget? Here we are trying to give them another chance. But are we the right people tunafaa kwa tunadeal na hizo?
And do we do that by killing them?
You know,
so that tumeenda tuko na sophisticated weapons.
Thank you so much for that. True love, one blood, eh? Unajua hapa
Pan-Africanism
deep sana, because yenye hatufai kukill black on black. Hata hapa Africa na hapa Kenya hatufai kuwa na tribalism. Tunafaa kuwa tunapendana si wote despite your tribe. Lakini let me ask you a question. Do you believe you can pray for someone who is not here in this room and your prayers can affect his life?
Me, I'm a believer.
Exactly. So the same way you can pray for someone, because I know Haiti is very far. It seems very far from us, but your prayers can affect that person positively. So for our police and Kenyans going there, we're not going there to serve any master. We're going there to protect our women, our African mothers who are suffering. Let me tell you, there is no schooling in Haiti. There is no schooling. For the last 6 years, children are not going to school. There is no businesses. You cannot open a shop. If you open your shop, they rob you everything. Every day, the only way gangsters make money is through kidnappings and blackmails and killings. That's the only way this system is surviving. Haiti, 60% of the nation, 40% is living outside as refugees in the diaspora, in America, in France, in all those countries. You understand? So that's why I'm saying, hao watu wamebaki hao 60% wako jela. Nyi mnasema blacks killing blacks. It's blacks killing blacks in Haiti already. But the blacks in Haiti are gangsters who are killing the mothers, the women, the old people. They have no future. The only future that we can give them is through the international intervention and through a Pan-African-led mission. And that is why Kenya, Mali, Burundi, Cameroon, and let me tell you also, forget about even Kenya, even the countries surrounding in the Caribbean, we have Jamaica, we have Bahamas, we have Barbados, we have all those countries. They're all going there to help the women, the mothers. Remember, again, even when the food comes, that is food aid, that is given by the diaspora living abroad, the gangsters take it. You saw the other day, the gangsters eating blood, eating human flesh. Come on guys.
Research, kulingana ile research inafanyika bro, kulingana na research imefanyika, walikam kurealize aje ile noma kubwa imefanya machali wanatokelezea kwa street. Ni kwa kitu moja. Na ukiangalia pia poa, hadi hapa kwetu inafanyika.
It's similar to the situation in South Africa.
Yeah, Kenya, ghettos, Madhari, yes. Mukuru kwa Ruben, Korogosho. Yes. Hakuna siku watajaenda wajenge kampuni huko iandike vijana wa ghetto job. Haijai happen. And systematically imekuwa hivyo brother. Saa hii for example, hapa mtani Islando yote ukipiga chumbili, vijana wanauza mogoka. Pale chumi ya mogoka, nani Kevo Badman akona yake pale, Matara kona yake pale. Jonde na zinafanya jo, baba yo, westi ukijaribu kuka mogoka kwa barabara. Dakika 2 azishi kabla hujawaiwa. Komboa nyumba, uza vitu zako pale. Shida kubwa ni nini? Usiharibu watoto wetu.
Yes.
Usiharibu watoto wetu. Haiti wanajaribu kusemaji bro, kampuni zimejengwa 80% ni za western world na si zao. Au wanataka pia wakuwe na call na shot kwa their resources ambayo imekuwa ni hard.
Indeed.
This system imekuwa systematically
and let me tell you, His Excellency the President in his statement has said the international community, led even by that United States, has failed Haiti. In fact, Haiti had even colonized, United States had colonized Haiti, and they were kicked out by the Haitians. However, that was those days. But now the people we are talking about now and where Haiti is heading, it's heading in the wrong direction. And trust you me, if no intervention is done. And one thing I also want to caution my brother Kurokot. I saw he went to court the other day again. The court dismissed it but told him, you have 14 days, serve your people. But what he needs to understand, the agreement was signed by the former prime minister, and we're not going there illegally, we're going there legally. What we need to start doing is start wishing our troops the best.
But now we want to talk about something else. This is basically state of the nation. Big up by there, big up Nachiki. Feedback ni kibao sana. That conversation has been dope. It's very engaging on our socials.
Nice.
That is hashtag Money Vibes at Reggae at Matara at Kevo Badman. But the other day, maybe I can start with you, Johnny. Tulicheki our president while he was in Rwanda. Alikuwa nabonga during the Africa CEO Forum. Na aliulizwa na magays hapo hivyo, some Kenyans actually. Aliulizwa a clarify about Kenya Kwanza's approach towards taxes, your strategy, whether it actually makes sense. Response yake ilikuwa interesting sana. He said a serious government has to choose between doing the right thing and being popular. So alikuwa nasema you have to pick the right side. I mean, which one will help the country grow? Yeah, and so my question is, can you actually tax people heavily? Yani ile noma kabisa ati ndo sasa the country prospers. Is that a workable strategy, especially for an African country like Kenya?
You know, Kevin, with our president, I wish to tell him that you cannot pickpocket a naked man. Kenyans are naked, and what he's trying to do is to get money out of a naked person, someone who has no clothes on. Like the policies that Kenya Kwanza are coming up with of taxing Kenyans, those are not policies that can work. You only tax people who have income. First of all, you create the income base.
Exactly.
For you to tax.
Yeah.
You do not tax people who have nothing to put on table for them to tax. Even if our president put the taxes at whichever level he wants to put them, I'm telling you, and I want to assure you that these things are not going to work, because where is the tax for you to tax? Because the same Kenyans today, like last time we went on the streets, we went on streets because of the taxes, because of the high cost of living and the rest of the things. But this time round, we are saying that we might not move on those streets. We have our leaders, both in Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. They have been elected by the Kenyan people, both in Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. It is their responsibility and so responsibilities for them to go to that parliament and realize the people they are leading. Because secondly, if I'm a leader in a particular constituency, I know my people, the level of their income.
Exactly.
They are either having the tax or not having the tax. If they're going to do, and this one I'm talking to both our leaders, both in Azimio, both in Kenya Kwanza. I'm not here on a party. I'm saying that they're representatives of the people. We are not going to get Kenya on the streets again, because we, the young people who went on those streets, are tired of going to those streets again. We are not going to be killed because of the taxes, and we have representatives who we have taken to parliament for them to ensure that these bills go through or not go through.
Well, our representatives wa Kenya wanauliza, are they really effective? Ama watacheza kama wao? Are they even independent?
And that's what we want. This time round, they go to that parliament and they be bought in State House, and they ensure that these bills go through. Kenyans will eat them. We are not 2027. They'll start just eating them now, because Matara, if you have gone on in the village there, because I travel this country across, it's not about Western, it's not about in Kikuyu land. When you hear the Kikuyus complaining, our brothers in Central complaining, they're not complaining because the tax they're talking about is affecting all of them, not about a tribe.
Exactly.
And this time round, if Kenyans are supposed to rise, then they're supposed to be Kenyans to rise, not parties to rise.
Not regions.
Not regions to rise.
Let's jump to Edward.
Yep.
Edu, ukicheki vile Prezo alikuwa na justify the new proposals enshrined in the finance bill of 2024. Our president today, William Ruto alikuwa anasema there's need for Kenya to be at par with his allies, ama with her allies in Africa and in Europe. Na kapata an example ya France. Who are paying 22% of their GDP in terms of taxes. Na Prezo akasema that by the time anaenda ku exit office in 2027, he intends for our tax to be at about 20 to 22% of our GDP. Your thoughts?
Okay, first, indeed, His Excellency would make certain comments because he's a very ambitious man.
Oh, so we shouldn't take him seriously?
No, I'm not saying that we shouldn't. No,
Okay.
don't put words I didn't put.
It's not realistic.
No,
he's
what I'm
ambitious.
saying, he's ambitious.
He's
Okay.
ambitious.
Obviously, for you to be able to even go for that journey, you have to have ambition. Journeys are tough, the terrain, you have to go up the mountain, down the mountain. But when you're thinking about it, it may look easy.
Yeah.
However, we can give him time. He was just expressing himself and trying, and also don't misquote him. What you were saying in the region, when we're paying 16% for VAT, other people are paying 20 plus. Okay, so we are much better off in terms of the regime of our VAT, the percentage we pay. So but najua sengine ana misquotiwa juu there is a lot of issues on tax, and I'd really like to speak to His Excellency and tell him that he needs to also listen to the people. This time round, let's not have like a 2024 bill, the one we had last year. Let's have a more public participatory, and not just a quick flash of participatory. A real participatory that brings us together. I like what my brother Mukoya said earlier, even when we were speaking. Right now the country is moving towards unity. So if that bill can be presented with a unison and with an agreement, so that if those things that are not good for the people or good for the country, let us see how they can be adjusted.
Let me ask you,
because I also want to remind His Excellency the President, when he attended the IMF summit in France, he was very hard.
I remember
On the IMF, he was very hard.
we need a new financial framework.
Yes, he was very hard on the World Bank and also those Western institutions. So, His Excellency, since you are hard on them, please don't be hard on Kenya.
I want to ask you something.
So that those goals that you want to implement, the Kenyans can also be able to support your goals.
Yeah.
Let's not be too tough on the taxation. I know right now there's a lot of stories of IMF, their policies, what they are saying, they're
what they
dictating.
want.
Yes.
Every day we're reading in the Financial Times, we're reading in the
Yes.
Economic Times, Business Daily, of how the IMF is saying this, you must put this.
Yes.
We want to remind the president, be tough on them, but don't be tough on
Let me
us.
jump in there, Edward.
Yes. Because
Mention
we
views.
have-
Sorry to cut you short,
Sure,
Edward.
sure,
you
brother.
you said the president should be open to views by Kenyans.
Yes.
Now, to the National Assembly will come and open its doors, and they're saying Kenyans should submit the memoranda with regards to the Finance Bill 2024.
Yes.
Now, my question to you is: now, look, we're supposed to submit our views before tomorrow, which is 24th COB. Before tomorrow COB, before close of business. My question is, guys, maybe you can help. Do you think this National Assembly, this government, itachukua views our Kenya seriously? Because in the previous finance bill conversation, people outcry ilikuwanga obvious, and lafu ikapelekwa parliament.
Bro, let me
disappointing.
tell you, I don't think they'll take us seriously. I'll just be open and plain.
Yes,
like my brother
yes.
said, non-political. Just yesterday in the Senate, there was a reading that was presented by one of the nominated senator for Nairobi, the lady from Eastern Province. I can't remember, the one who has nice hair.
Yes.
Ile kama afro.
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Says, she's called who?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Something of the sort.
Bro, Senate, they were going to discuss the financial bill, and there were only 2 senators.
That's crazy.
Come on, man. So we are even questioning, like you said, we voted. We don't have to go to the streets anymore as Kenyans. We voted them in, and we give them part of our sovereignty.
All right.
So we are watching them closely, because even me, I don't want to get taxed. Even me, I don't want to get overburdened.
Johnny, quick response, alafu nikuuliza swali lingine.
You know, when you talk about that, are they going to take our view? They're not going to take.
Okay.
To be sincere, even you look at the time they normally give Kenyans to give their views. That is not time. Which views are you going to take there?
By latest tomorrow.
But to who?
So you're parliamentarians.
Which ones? you know, first of all, I'm being very sincere. No, I'm being very sincere, Badman. You look at how, you know, when someone is speaking, you look at the face of the person. Is he speaking from the heart? The face and what the person is saying should reflect if this person really mean it. If the person doesn't mean it, these views are just for let us pass the time. It was just to confirm. It's a formality that there was public participation. The same way, on that same idea that we have schools that today children are not in school, but schools have opened. We are on learning. Which concentration, which parliamentarians are saying, which budget? These people, they want us to take those views so that they can finish to have their cut. As long as they have their loot, that is gone.
But let me ask you, umesema loot. You know, it's interesting kwa sababu ukiangalia the finance bill of obviously 2024, inakuja at a time when the country inakuwa reviewed by, of course, IMF. So there's this thing called the 7th review of Kenya's 4.43 billion program. Yenye walipatia ile loan. So now IMF is reviewing how we use the money. My question to you is very, very simple. This finance bill 2024 and how the president is going about his proposed taxes, are we saying that this is just a child of IMF? Is the president held at hostage?
That's exactly what I wanted to tell you. That with these taxes we are having might not be even for this president.
Might not even be the president's wishes.
Might not be the president's wishes. It might be IMF is the one that is pushing. And president has to get out of this quagmire of IMF. Or he continues being there and Kenyans continue digging deeper where we're heading. It might not be him. That's why you are saying, bring those views by tomorrow 24th. We are closing. What are you closing? What are the views? Like today. Let's talk. How many views have they collected? And look at the people being appointed to go to the constituencies that, like uko nyumbani in Kakamega County, are here. They have taken the rationale and the rest are the ones speaking the public participation on the finance bill. We are joking.
Johnny,
I think,
Edward, they want to make Kenya, the president anasemanga, he sees Kenya becoming the Singapore of Africa.
It can be, but
Kenya has the potential. And one thing, guys, also, let's not misconstrue this thing about taxes. We have to pay taxes.
Exactly.
All right.
But
and you know, the money that we are loaned, even that money we are given from all these institutions, it's other people's savings. That's what His Excellency has always told us. However, what we are saying is that we have a big debt that we need to pay, which is poking a hole. In fact, this president is suffering from debts that he didn't even borrow. You know, what he's borrowing today will pay in 10 years, 20 years to come. But now he's having to look for that money through an expanded recurrent expenditure. You know, even now, how much money we're spending less on development and spending more on recurrent. So we call upon His Excellency the President to rein in his people. First of all, I remember in the manifesto, he talked about having a Kenya Revenue Service, not a Kenya Revenue Authority. We also calling upon the chairman of the Committee of Finance, the Molo MP, to put down his ego. Let him give us more time, add more time, at least one more week, so that now that the awareness has been created here on Vibes Radio, so that more Kenyans can actually, because the parliament can adjust that. Yes, it's not written on stone. So that Kenyans can then give their views conclusively. I saw, like last week, you saw they were in Dagoretti, they were in Madare, but this was led by politicians. However, you don't expect even Kenyans to be thinking about public participation when they have to pay their bills, when they have to pay their school fees, when they have to put food on the table. However, I want to encourage His Excellency. The same fight he had with the leaders of World Bank, even Macron, you remember the exchange they had? I hope he can remind them that where Kenya wants to go, so that they can allow him to independently run this country and not interfere with our fiscal plan, our taxation regime, so that we do not go back to the days of Moi, where if we fail to pay, we get sanctioned.
Maybe just to add on, our president has also to be serious. You know, you cannot talk about taxes when you are having a jet of 200 million to the US. Let us be sincere.
Are you saying our president agenda commercial?
Not about commercial. Even Kenya Airways.
For 15 hours, commercial, surely, guys.
How does it go down to the common man who wants to be taxed?
True. At the same time,
let us be sincere to our people that you cannot go and spend 200 million on a jet and then tell me that I have to tax you to the bone.
Public perception. What one on? Come on.
The perception.
Yeah, it's true. Kevin, what are you going to ask?
Nimelike sana vile Idodo ya compassion J story na kuna history ya vile tu big hapa ameisema how we are spending. Ni sawa Wakenya wanasema ni sawa tunataxiwa. Ni sawa tunaona vile mnatutax na tumekubali juu hata tukatae bado mnatutax. But what are you spending? Mnaspend na nini Ido yetu? Tunashikia hiyo ni one. Alafu tu kuna historia ya Jonte na Edu. Kuna historia suanga tunasemaje? Kila regime ikam ilipata already tuko na madeni. Hizi madeni ndio tunalipa. Baba yo, mbona tuulizi aje? Ni sawa so far tumelipa ngapi? Ndio tujuange sisi kama Kenya tulikuwa na deni ya 4 trillion na sasa tushalipa 1, tumebakisha 3. Why mbona wakamingi au ama ni vile tu Wakenya wengi sio fikiria wangapia ni mboka nyingine wanga ni historia ajaba?
I think nikianza na hiyo hizi information waga hizo waga parliament si ati ni mali tu iko hivyo. Kwanza sahi huu president ndio ule ana borrow according to law. Unajua before walikuwa na borrow just how they want, but at least sasa huyu ukienda parliament, you know, hata the first thing His Excellency Ruto alifanya alicall for an audit. Kama mnaweza kumbuka Treasury waka-call audit in the beginning ndio wajue what is our debt book.
Checks and balances.
Yes, so they have done that now. Even when I heard Onyonka speaking the other day in one of the interviews in the media, he said at least we paid 1 trillion or something so far. So I'm sure it was 9 trillion, now it's reduced to about 8. Okay? You saw the Eurobond that we had to borrow another one to pay the... No, because we were going to default. If we didn't borrow that money, we didn't have the money to pay the old Eurobond. Okay, going back to the issues of spending. Indeed, His Excellency, tunakuomba. We know, His Excellency, you cannot... When you look at the 200 million and the billions that he's coming with, you know, he didn't go there just to at a holiday. He went there to entice and bring in investors.
Enticed by a jet?
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. First of all, he was also traveling with his family. He was also on business. You know, his office is also moving. You know,
but don't you
right now, I know in Kenya, the deputy president.
I was going to say that.
Guys, you're missing this one. I know the deputy president. Hold on. The deputy president has been left to lead, but it's like the president went with the office.
Yo, you get Edward, kwanza kuna watu wanasema the president went with people, alienda
200,000 jet. So bado yani
Edward, listen. So apparently kuna watu wanasema even the president shouldn't have gone with those people, like speaking of Gladys Wanga, kina Waiguru.
What did they do?
Prezo Wanga na business people, Kenyan business people.
I'm prior to this information.
You know what I mean?
No, there's over 200 business people.
Where?
Wait, listen, bro. I'm telling you, you'll see the list. There's over 200 business people in the US right now who went with His Excellency the President.
I didn't see that.
You only saw Butita because it was only the thing for the creative economy. However, there is a lot of businesses that went together with the president.
Oh, it's fine. So
who are also part, and that's KEPSA, Kenya Association of Manufacturing, their members.
Fine, Edu.
A lot went.
Edu, fine. You know, the question Kenyans are asking, you have a jet of 200, and you are just coming from a country where you have had floods. Children have not gone to school. There are no classes. So some are still at home. 200 million. What can 200 million do if you put it in Kisumu, where we have the floods? If you put that money in Mathare, where until today there are no people are still in camps.
It's crazy.
Like yesterday we were distributing foods, Githaiga. We still have people. We are going to Dalangi. We are going the perception that comes out. We don't refuse our president. We don't refuse our president to use whichever jet he is using. But the timing also of using those jets and what Kenyans are going through right now.
Guys, because of time, Edward, because I know
quick rebate on that one.
30 seconds.
Yes. First of all, you have to remember that this was already budgeted for. You know, government expenditure happens through budgets. They didn't just wake up in the morning and say we're going to spend this, and that was way before.
I think the flooding. Talking about public perception.
Edu, I will not agree with you that when you say about that it's already budgeted for. It was budgeted for, but it has not been spent. The president has the right to change.
But the information I'm getting that, you know, Kenyans move very fast. That jet is no longer there, and he's coming back with a KQ, because this heat has become too much. We're
guys,
no longer using the private jet back for, and you'll see.
Edward, hold on. We're running out of time. Nataka tumalizana na historia ya dilemma ya Ruto and Gachagua. First questions. Edward Githaiga, is there a rift between the president and his deputy? Do you think there is? 2 minutes.
You know,
actually a minute.
Thank you. In any house where there is a marriage, there's always, in our Kikuyu tribe, we always say, marriage is fire. It's like a burning bush or fire. Moshi ni dog. So you would not lack, even us here, hata nyinyi kama two co-hosts. Kuna time unaweza bonga hivi jamaa kasirike.
Imagine atukuangi na hizo vibe.
No, nasema, hata kama si serious. It's normal. Sindio, hata kwa barabara, watu waelewanagi. But let me tell you, there is no real rift between His Excellency and the deputy. What is happening is repositioning. Kenya is a highly political nation, and obviously, you know, my brother here, Mukoya, a very well-renowned youth leader, can tell you that right now, Raila Amolo Odinga ako anawak na government because hana choice, because ya ikiti ya AU. They must work together, and because it's the president who nominated him, and we saw him in Uganda with you know, the president is there. It's unity. It's good for the country. However, now for people like Gachagua, who is the deputy president, he has to reposition himself. He has to now begin to align, because listen, it's not the president who is fighting Gachagua. It is the people around in leadership.
Around the president.
Gachagua talking about don't stab your brother in the back.
Okay, hold it right there, Edward. I want you to listen to what Governor wa Nyeri and Mukoya said, actually told President William Ruto and his friends about history of Reggae. Have a listen, Johnny. Have a listen. All right.
Moshi pana moto. Na ni vizuri tuseme hapa, nikiwa nimesimama hapa, kwamba sisi katika mlima huu, hasa kuanzia Meru kwenda na kuzunguka huu mlima wote, tuliondoka asubuhi na mapema, tukaichagua serikali ya William Samoei Ruto na Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua. Tuliweza kuwachagua, mnakumbuka kulikuwa na vita kubwa kabisa, lakini tuliamua tutawachagua wale wawili wakiwa wameshikana. Wakikuyu wanasema takekwanake. Kitu kimoja ningetaka taifa hili lisikilize. Mimi huwa siongei sana, lakini nikiongea ninaomba wanisikilize na wanisikilize vizuri. Hii serikali ilikuwa ya machozi, ilikuwa ya kilio, ilikuwa ya watu wengine kuwekwa jela, ilikuwa ya kukosewa heshima, na ilibidi sisi kama taifa, sisi kama jamii tuangalie mtoto wetu, tumwambie mtoto wetu ondoka, enda kando. Tumempata mwingine hapa ambaye wewe unaendelea kumnyanyasa, na ni vizuri tuseme hapa, rais wetu aliye rais sasa akiwa deputy president alifanyiwa mambo ambao tunasema ni ya unyama. Alikosewa heshima, akanyimwa magari, akanyimwa mambo mengi, na sisi tukaona kama Wakikuyu, kama mlima, tukasema huyu ndiye alisimama na mtoto wetu, na imefika wakati wake tumemfanyia madharau na mambo haya na kumdhihaki. Sisi kama jamii tukasema tumekataa na tunamchagua. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Niguo kana tiguo. Tulifanya hivyo. Basi nikisimama hapa katika kanisa, we will not allow our son to go through that at all.
All right, sasa umesikia hiyo vibe. Amesema
Shot fire, shot fire.
we will not allow our son to be bullied like the way the deputy president was bullied by the former president.
Exactly, because he's not talking about the president.
Yeah.
He's talking about the people who surround the president. And of course, like I say, there's a lot of repositioning.
Yeah.
And you know, even when UDA came in, it was people, parties who came together. There were coalitions. And obvious, you know, these things are bound to happen. There's going to be disagreements. But what I would like to call upon is for His Excellency Deputy President to not be lured into a clash with the president.
All right, hold it
because
right
it will not work for him.
Oh, it's going to be
will not work for the country. It will not work neither for the region. So for those proponents who are calling for like guns to be fired or a fight between the president and the deputy, that will be the division and that will be the end of the country.
Got you. Joe Mukoya, should the governor of Nyeri be taken seriously? Kuna watu wanafikiria this beef is not there. In fact, it's just being hyped by the media. Ukisikia the way the governor of Nyeri anasema, oh, you know, our son is not going to be bullied kama mbaya. What are your thoughts?
The governor of Nyeri, and with my brother here, Githaiga, we were there when he actually snubbed Baba when he went there for a rally, because I am taking him seriously, because he did then, when we were there with Baba, during election, when Uhuru had told him
I was even put in the middle.
To support Baba, and he went publicly and told him, Baba, that one. So I don't take him for a joke.
Wow.
And if they and if they are fighting, let them continue fighting. We in Azimio, we don't care what they're doing. Let them continue fighting.
But Johnny, honestly
and another
speaking,
thing that's happening here, Baba is not in the picture, because they have always used Baba as a punching bag. Now they have nothing to talk about.
But unacheki kuna watu wanasema, what does Ruto gain by antagonizing Gachagua? What is there to gain by antagonizing Gachagua?
What Ruto gains or doesn't gain when antagonizing Gachagua is that what happened, it is Gachagua, as my brother said, Gachagua has now to reorganize himself. Raila is not in the picture. Baba Raila Molodinga. They have been punching Baba, and they have been using Baba for them to be seen they are doing something. Now Baba is not in the picture. They just have to look at how they can deal with Kenyans without issues of tribalism, without issues of having someone to attack.
That's fine, but I'm just saying in terms of now, you know, causing all this if at all it's true, mtu anakosana ama ametuma watu wake wamweke Gachagua kwa kona. What is that to gain politically?
And I want to clarify to my brother Githaiga. Githaiga says that those around the president, when the king coughs, the person who hears his cough is the person who is near him. And when those around the king are the ones fighting Gachagua, then it's nobody fighting Gachagua, it's William Ruto fighting Gachagua. So we cannot say that those people can be called and ordered.
But what is that to gain? That's my question.
What is there to gain? Maybe President William Ruto has stayed with Gachagua and he has realized that this man going forward, as we head to 2027, maybe the Kikuyu nation has left William Ruto, and William Ruto feels that he has to bring in another tribe, the Western or the Coastal.
Let me ask you, Johnny. I mean, Edward, just like Johnny amesema, maybe anafeel kama Gachagua is not good enough to consolidate the mountain. He might lose out on votes. can the President William Ruto win over Mount Kenya without Gachagua come 2027?
You know, with due respect, let's respect His Excellency the President. I do really respect him, and indeed, he's the one who chose Gachagua to be his running mate. Let's give credit where it is.
Exactly.
Because there are many other candidates for deputy president.
We hear he wanted
and he nobody influenced him. He saw the need of Gachagua. And probably at that time, Gachagua is a fighter.
Yes.
And you know he fought well the fight against Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes,
because if it wasn't for Gachagua in Mount Kenya, Uhuru Raila would have been talking another story. Because Gachagua dismantled Uhuru Kenyatta, which was a disadvantage now to Raila Odinga's campaign. But you see, Raila also got 800,000 plus, and he was only getting 200,000 before. So there was an impact. So Gashagua's impact was felt. So what I'm trying to say is this. What personally I believe is that there are certain leaders, and I want to quote one Anne Waiguru. I want to quote other leaders also for Mount Kenya. They are the ones who are trying to bring drama upon Gachagua. It is not His Excellency the President.
And why is that drama?
No, because you know the region still has no definite leader.
Yes.
You know, there was an explanation of something called Modegi, that stick. Sorry, I'm using the worst word. It's a rod, the rod or a staff of leadership, which is still with Uhuru. It hasn't been transferred to Gachagua.
Yes.
You see, so it's still open. It's still an open space. That's why you're seeing Waiguru coming in. Didi Nyoro also, there was a time 2 months ago, Didi Nyoro made a push and people were talking openly about how Didi Nyoro should be the deputy president. So obviously, you know, maybe the deputy president is feeling, hey, Your Excellency, mazisi unitete, ama mbona unakubali hawa say, waningoja, you get me? Mbona unakubali hawa say, wanipige sana, ama waende public na hii story. And you remember also there's a time His Excellency talked, he said that we might even get a woman. I respect His Excellency. Whatever His Excellency says for UDA, me, I'm going to support His Excellency. Because he's the one who declared Gachagua the deputy president. What I want to complete by saying, His Excellency Gachagua, please focus on your job as the deputy president.
All right.
Do not be lured in any fight, because that will be the end of you.
That's the same thing I said yesterday.
That will be the end of you. But however,
is he being lured to a fight that is not the Amman fight that is already there?
People are, you know, the story in the air is that, you know, there is a fight between him and His Excellency. But I want to caution him. Don't get involved in that.
Don't even try.
Because look at what happened to the deputy himself.
For
all those years when he fought the president, where did he end up?
Being the president, maybe.
He suffered.
So, gentlemen, I have to cut you short, Maze. We're running out of time. That is Edward Githaiga and John Wanguba Mukoya. It's all about the state of the nation. Leo tumekuwa tukiongea about, of course, Kenya's mission in Haiti. Edward, by the way, is from Africans for Haiti, Chief Inspirational Officer. And John Mukoya, of course, National Chair of Movement for Defense of Democracy. By the way, Edward, you've got a concert.
Yes, we have a concert. I just want to give you a quick rundown. We had a diplomatic breakfast at JW Marriott. That was 3 weeks ago. Then last Sunday, Mother's Day, we did a Mother's Day vigil for Haitian mothers at Freedom Corner. We didn't see you guys there, but next time I hope you'll
invited,
be there.
bro.
And then now on June 29th at Uhuru Gardens, we are having a Harmony for Haiti concert.
Nice.
We are discussing with international artists from Haiti, from the US. We are also discussing with Wyclef John, who's meant to feature in that. And we're also going to have many surprises during that time. So I'm calling upon Nairobians, I'm calling upon Kenyans to set that date. It's going to be on a Saturday, June 29th. Harmony for Haiti concert at Uhuru Gardens.
Good stuff. Yo, my guys, once again, the one and only vibrant Edward Githaiga, Africans for Haiti Chief Inspirational Officer, and of course, very passionate John Wanguba Mukoya is the National Chair of Movement for Defense of Democracy. It's all about Kenya's mission in Haiti and appear the state of the nation.
This is the Modern Vibes on Vibes Radio.